In most of my what ifs, I kind of talk about how Frieza isn't some mastermind, that he's kind of just inherently evil, super cocky to the point that he's not really a true emperor, quote unquote. And I'm not saying that this version of Frieza is going to be that specifically, but I was always wondering, what would have happened if Frieza did raise both Goku and Vegeta? Yes, there is a bit of a time gap between both Goku and Vegeta themselves, and it makes for an interesting dynamic, especially because Goku is going to be a baby during a good chunk of this time. And there's a lot of things that we have to change in the story to actually fit this properly, but let's just start from the very beginning. Now, the very beginning starts with Frieza and King Cold. We know that Frieza wasn't necessarily born the way he is, but he trained a little bit to more or less maximize his potential, and now he's basically an unstoppable force with only people like Majin Buu and Beerus that are above him. Now, with that said, being this unstoppable force, or being so powerful that you have to make more or less weaker forms so that you can kind of suppress your power, well, being in that kind of realm of power makes you very cocky, very arrogant, and this version of Frieza just is a smidge less that, and a more of a manipulator to a larger extent. Now, with that said, how does Frieza end up raising Vegeta for starters? Well, it all starts at the very beginning when he actually decides to more or less take over the Saiyans. But here's the thing, in this version, he keeps the idea that he's some sort of good person, that he's okay, that he's actually not a horrible emperor and not going to just dominate and conquer all of them over and over again. He wants them to feel safe because he's looking for the absolute best, the absolute greatest kind of warriors that he can possibly use to build his empire. Now, this is what Frieza is thinking. He knows that he can't control every last Saiyan, that if he has every single one under his control, then it's gonna be basically impossible to kind of keep up with all of them. So he decides to actually handle it in the way he believes he should handle it. Get two Saiyans that are actually younger and are very impressionable. So what does he do? Well, he speaks and uses his kind of morality stance and the fact that he is kind of neutral in this regard, not some overwhelming emperor, to convince King Vegeta to go out on a mission. And this mission would be the change that would be basically in Dragon Ball in this regard. He would convince King Vegeta to go straight up and go on a mission, and he would follow King Vegeta. He would actually go off maybe with a couple other soldiers that he knew were fully loyal, and maybe he would even just send some of the stronger warriors that he knew for sure could kill King Vegeta, like the Ginyu Force, some of the most loyal, bar none, and it's not even close. Now, with that said, this would lead to a lot of manipulation, at least specifically in terms of the Prince Vegeta, or now King Vegeta. But in all reality, I mean, come on, a kid is not going to rule over all of this and just won't rule over an entire race. Now, with that said, he'll be able to manipulate Vegeta, tell him that everything's going to be fine, that he can follow Frieza's lead or his own lead. And he'd be able to basically guide Vegeta into thinking exactly what he wants him to think, tell him exactly what he wants him to know, and so on and so forth, more and more and more. And eventually getting to the point that the manipulation is basically perfect. So much so that Vegeta believes that he is now a more or less loyal servant of Frieza, but he sees it more into the regard that Frieza is the mentor figure that he so needed. The mentor figure he needed to not only get stronger, but be better and everything all combined. Now, the death of Planet Vegeta would still 100% occur. He would make up some excuse to get the Saiyans there, but Vegeta would be told to stay off planet or do this or do that, and a so-called meteor would come down and kill the planet. Now, with that said, Bardock would still send off his baby by the name of Kakarot, But unfortunately, Bardock would die in the process. He would die, but his baby Kakarot would live, but would be intercepted. Frieza would see this as more or less a calling, that something told him and showed him that this baby, this Saiyan baby, is the one that he should actually keep, the one that he should actually decide to utilize. Now, this would make it so that the one and only that we know by the name of Broly would actually die. Or you could make the argument that maybe Broly gets sent off before Frieza actually goes and assassinates King Vegeta, but in more of my reality, I believe that Frieza destroying Planet Vegeta would be far enough power to kill baby Broly and kill every last Saiyan on that planet. There's a chance that maybe some Saiyans live, but in my opinion, it would only be Goku and Vegeta, and then also maybe some straggler Saiyan all the way across the universe, but that's beyond the point. Now that we have gotten to the point that Frieza has now both Goku and Vegeta, or more specifically Kakarot and Vegeta, he now knows that it's time for him to make the strongest warrior possible. He knows that both Vegeta and Goku are going to be powerful. They're Saiyans outright. So he tells both of them that they're going to go down the path of training, that they're going to get to the point that they are at the very top of the echelon, or they're at the very top of his empire, and they can stand right beside him. But it's going to be hard, and it's going to take a lot of training, and that Frieza even says that he'll help them. He'll train them as well, teach them, and so on and so forth. And this would eventually lead to years, and I'm talking about years all the way up until adulthood, of training from Frieza. Now this of course would benefit Frieza. It would benefit him very heavily, and if you've seen any of my other stories, that would be very prevalent no matter what. Normally, if Frieza decides to change his mindset in a specific way, it would lead to him being stronger himself. I mean, that's just a given. Now, will he be Golden Frieza level? No, of course not. But he would still be relatively strong based on just helping and training both Vegeta and Goku, or Kakarot. Now, as time passes and with more time to actually get more technology, Frieza would get more and more things that would benefit the two Saiyans. We're talking about gravity chambers, maybe fast healing chamber pods, and so on and so forth. And being able to conquer planet to planet together, both Vegeta and Goku, or both Vegeta and Kakarot, they would more or less gain power far, far, far greater than they would ever in the normal canon. And that's just, in my opinion, when you're in constant battle, constant training, no matter what, from the age of being a baby to more or less adulthood, both Goku and Vegeta would be sky high in terms of power. In my opinion, would actually eclipse the strongest warrior that Frieza has besides him, being that of Ginyu. And he would be, or they would both be, in the realms of the 100,000s in terms of power level. Now, Vegeta would definitely be stronger, and that's just the case that he's been around Frieza more. He was raised by him a lot longer, and also on top of that, he's kind of worked with Frieza a lot more as well. I mean, he did have an earlier start than Goku. Goku was only picked up once Planet Vegeta was destroyed, or was in the process of being destroyed. But still, both of them have a very, very good kind of quote-unquote sibling rivalry, but it allows them to more or less eclipse more and more powers that they never would have normally. Having two Saiyans train together all the time allows Frieza to watch them grow, and also allows Frieza to make sure that he stays ahead of the rumored quote-unquote Super Saiyan. And by this time, he's far, far stronger than a Super Saiyan Namek Goku, so he doesn't have anything to worry about. And he's trying his best not to allow kind of this ego he normally has to eclipse his better judgment, so he makes sure that both Goku and Vegeta are in check in terms of they know who's stronger or who is the strongest. Now, with that said, the conquering would be fruitful. Shoot, he would even send Goku and Vegeta off on their own, and they would have no trouble
every planet they go to, every single planet, every last one they go to, they would have no trouble. Now, there would be a bit of turmoil within the Frieza Force. I mean, there always is. Some of the other people that are higher up, like Zarbon, like Dodoria, like the Ginyu Force, would be concerned about Goku and Vegeta, or would be concerned about Kakarot and Vegeta. I mean, at the end of the day, of course they are. They're Saiyans. I mean, how could they trust them? But Frieza knows that there is no way that the Saiyans will disobey him. And it's okay even if they do eventually in the future, because not only is he more powerful than them, but he has plans of something else. Plans of conquering every planet they possibly can and gaining resources from those planets to the largest degree possible. Now, his first plan is 100% to get the Dragon Balls. Maybe he doesn't know exactly what they are in terms of wish-granting orbs, but he hears rumors throughout the cosmos about a kind of these Dragon Balls, quote-unquote, or some sort of item that allows you to somehow get a wish of your choosing. And they would, of course, stumble upon Namek eventually, maybe even stumble upon Earth, but by that time, I would assume that Earth would be taken over by King Piccolo, so it doesn't really matter. There is no way around that. The dragon would be gone, King Piccolo would rule the Earth, and there's nothing really to be done there, at least not specifically. Now, with that said, Frieza, Goku, Vegeta would still scour the universe, and they would have come across Namek, no doubt about it. Now, the real question is, would the Namekians actually give up a wish? And that would be probably not. I mean, at the end of the day, the Namekians would most likely not give up that said wish, and would most likely decide that, hey, we're not going to give you this wish, we'd rather die instead. And that would be kind of sad, because Frieza would not gain anything from that planet, would not gain anything from Namek, but that's alright, because he has plenty other planets that he can benefit from. If that's increased riches or techniques that both Goku and Vegeta can learn. Yeah, learn. Because at the end of the day, when you go to planets like Yardrat and conquer them, Frieza would use his Iron Fist and his unrelenting power to more or less force the Yardratians to teach Goku and Vegeta as much as possible. But now, with that said, how much stronger would Goku and Vegeta really get throughout this time? Well, I think they would get pretty damn strong, but my only thing and only knock on their training would be that Frieza would never kind of inform them of a so-called Super Saiyan. They would have to learn it on their own. And how would they even transform into it? I mean, at the end of the day, they have no wants, they have no need, they have no will to actually become a Super Saiyan. And at the end of the day, you really need a reason why. You really need that unrelenting pursuit for Super Saiyan. Now, Goku got it because he's watched his friend die. Vegeta got it because he wanted to not fall behind a low-class warrior in Kakarot and pushed his body to limits that we have never seen before. Now, with Goku and Vegeta in this timeline, it's a little different. I mean, at the end of the day, they may have worked hard and still work hard, but they have everything at their fingertips. The Saiyan blood to conquer, they do it every day. Conquer every planet they possibly want. If they want the best food possible, well, they could have that. If they want women, they could have that. If they want anything materialistic, anything sentimental, anything that would be in the realm of something they would want, they get it. They have it, and that's it. And the reason why they get it is full loyalty to Frieza. Now, what about Majin Buu, or something of that realm? Someone that would show up and that would be very powerful. Well, Majin Buu would most likely not be a threat. And the reason for that is because Frieza would drop his ego. Wouldn't necessarily be super egotistical or think, oh, I'm stronger and better than everyone else. So he would train with Goku and Vegeta, and we saw how training with Togama went, how 4 months or so of training actually helped him. And keep in mind, this was training that wasn't even. He wasn't straight up fighting someone that was his equal and going head to head with them and so on and so forth. No. This was him beating someone severely over and over again, and him getting strong. I don't think most people realize that sometimes, and Frieza would excel power very, very quickly throughout this time. So by the time Majin Buu shows up, he's on a whole nother level. Now, in terms of the golden form, he most likely wouldn't actually have a golden form. I mean, at the end of the day, it was inspired by Super Saiyan. So unless Goku and Vegeta has Super Saiyan, he wouldn't have a golden form. But it would be pretty cool to see Goku and Vegeta get Super Saiyan, this crazy power that was of legend. And then Frieza more or less says, oh yeah, by the way, I'm the Golden Emperor, I'm levels above you. And he shows off his golden form, a Super Saiyan form that is more or less just way better than anything Goku and Vegeta could ever do, which would be kind of like a stamp on the idea that Goku and Vegeta would have no chance in ever rebelling against Frieza, that there's no chance at all. So they better get real comfortable in the idea of being second and third place, because they will never be first, and Frieza would keep them tame based around that idea. Now, with Majin Buu, Frieza would definitely have Goku and Vegeta take the fight initially, but the real question is, are they even strong enough to take him on? Now, with years and years, probably 20 to 30, maybe even more years of training, and then also probably eclipsing the Super Saiyan wall and maybe going further beyond that, they might be able to take him on. But here's the thing. How beneficial is a lot of the training, and how often are they actually training under certain gravity or certain things? And you got to realize that conquering planets, which would be a large part of their kind of way of life, wouldn't be the best and most fruitful training. We've seen that. Well, Saiyans really didn't train in the first place very much, and all they did was really conquer planets, and they didn't really benefit from that as much as you would think they would have. Now, I don't think they would be strong enough quite yet to take on Majin Buu. I think they would realize that the strength of Majin Buu is closer and in the realm of what they want, but the more and more they learn from different species, different planets, and different people would allow them to eclipse the walls that are set in front of them, being that of the Super Saiyan wall, the Super Saiyan 2 wall, and stuff like that. Now, I think it would be easier to say that Frieza would defeat Majin Buu. Frieza would kill Majin Buu without even a second thought. It wouldn't even be close. In my opinion, that's an easier way of looking about it, because yes, he could have Goku and Vegeta go out there and fight, but there is no guarantee that they even win, and if they don't win, then Frieza kind of loses his two strongest warriors that he could utilize for conquering every planet in the entire universe. So that kind of, makes a lose-lose situation for him, or at least to a certain extent. Now, with Majin Buu dead and defeated, at least to a certain extent, now it's kind of, well, how does he deal with Beerus? Or does Beerus allow him to continue his kind of conquering of every single planet he possibly can see? Frankly, he would probably allow Frieza to do this for a while, even after he wakes up. Now, does this change anything in the end of this universe's lifespan? Now, the real question would be, is Frieza conquering every single planet known to man going to benefit everyone or actually hurt the mortal level drastically? Because at the end of the day, they're already at the very bottom of everything. So what would occur? Well, hate to say it, but a lot of my things actually end this way, and I always say that this is the logical way that it would end. It's Frieza, and everyone else ruining the mortal level to the point that it's even worse than normal, and Zeno destroys all the universes that he deems unworthy or have too low of a mortal level. And there would be no tournament of power. It just wouldn't exist. Now, you could make an argument that maybe Beerus comes to Frieza and asks
about Saiyans and asks about Super Saiyan gods and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, they don't have enough Saiyans to make the ritual, and you would actually have to send off both Goku and Vegeta to Beerus. Now, with that said, I just don't think this version of Goku would somehow magically incite a tournament of power. Now, you could go down the path of maybe Goku and Vegeta train with Beerus, and they get a lot stronger, and Frieza feels scared about Goku and Vegeta, but this would lead to Frieza dying. Frieza being scared of Goku and Vegeta would lead to him dying. Because if he trains with Beerus, or they train with Beerus for a long period of time, and then Frieza sees how strong they are, maybe in an upcoming Universe 6 versus 7, maybe he participates in it, maybe somehow he tries to show that he cares by participating in it to a certain extent, and him being there, he sees the power that basically Goku and Vegeta are excelling at. It would lead to Frieza most likely executing them. Now, with that said, we've seen Frieza be scared of power before, and an execution of the two Saiyans would lead to what? Him most likely dying. He would die. He would die because Beerus would kill him. Because Beerus, yes, you may argue, oh, Beerus doesn't really care about them, but Beerus would be losing two possible opponents. And even if he decided, okay, well, Frieza's now my opponent that I want to fight, Frieza would still, it all ends with Frieza's death, no matter what. So in my opinion, it's either ends with Beerus actually killing Frieza, or Zeno destroying the entirety of the universe. Because at the end of the day, Frieza's not helping anybody in terms of mortal level. This is not a what if Frieza was a good emperor. This is a Frieza raising two Saiyans for his own benefit. His own benefit. Not anybody else's, but his own. Now, with that said, let me know what you think would happen if Frieza did raise both Goku and Vegeta. Did I follow the path or the timeline that you think would occur? And maybe there's something that you would like to add in yourself, or maybe there's something that you believe would have actually occurred. Leave it in the comment section below. Show some love on the video. As always, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below. And also, we have a Discord in the description and also a Spotify. Yeah, that's all I got to say. I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.